What's up, dudes and dudettes? It's Griever back here, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Jujustu Kaisen, chapter 148. Now, I know the community has been waiting a long time for the new chapter, right? We've had an extended break, but now we're back here with chapter 148. And is this a worthy chapter, prolonged, to wait so long? Do you guys enjoy this chapter? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you like Maki, which really, who doesn't? But if you like Maki, even a teensy bit, this is a chapter for you because this is a Maki chapter and it delves into a lot of information that we didn't really perceive necessarily. We sort of get introduced. I believe this is our first introduction of certain characters related to Maki and the idea that the Zenin clan is going to really be of no help when it comes to the culling game. It's just going to be one more stepping stone. It's going to be another obstacle in their way. There is not a united front, and that's a serious problem. The Jujutsu world is now split with power struggles, but internal power struggles amongst themselves. They're going to be fighting amongst themselves, let alone having to deal with everything else that's going on with the real enemy, so to speak. So this chapter definitely brings us that information to the forefront here. And I think this chapter was really, really good. Now, I read both translations. I read two translations. And there was some slight differences between them, but honestly, nothing that really seemed out of place to me. There's one key thing that I will bring up later on, but that really could change the name of the game as far as it's considered. But here we see that Maki finally returns to the Zenin clan headquarters, the household. And she's completely treated like crap. I mean, she's got no time for anybody. She's got no time for that new guy calling himself the head, the new head or whatever. His name's begins with an N or whatever. The guy who basically looked like an idiot compared to Okotsu in the last arc, right? The new, I'm going to be head. Forget Megumi. I'm going to be the head of the Zenin clan. And he's not powerful or whatever, but he is. We know him to be a prick. And here we see that he bullied Maki when they were children and stuff, and even says calls her scum, calls her trash, calls her all these things when she simply just shows up and she has no time for him. She's got little time for him. So we sort of jump away. I don't know what the purpose of the first part of this chapter was, or the first couple of pages, because she shows up, she goes into the room where he is, and he's just chilling. And basically, they have a word battle, a battle of wits, so to speak, a verbal battle. And then they just move on. And I don't really understand exactly what was the purpose of that. Was it to show that we already knew this guy was a dick, and we knew that Maki was mistreated by her family because she can't see cursed spirits, she can't use cursed techniques, so she's basically the black sheep of the family. We already knew that. Is this just trying to reestablish it? I'm not sure. This is the one part of the chapter that honestly, if any part was bad necessarily, this just feels a little out of place. We're adding it sort of doing a recap. In case you forgot Maki's backstory, here's a quick recap done in a different scene. I'm not really sure why. But then we actually go into the fact we meet his mother, or her mother, and we meet her father in the next part of the chapter. We sort of get a flashback within a flashback. We go into the present where she's basically going to go to that cursed household, which she talked about. She's going to go to the cursed tool warehouse that the Zenin clan has collected a number of cursed tools. They're going to need them in this fight. It's one of their biggest advantages they're going to have in the culling game, so she went to go get them. Now, the other part about this is that Megumi is he became the head of the Zenin clan. And we jump into a flashback because the mother, that we find out that this is her mother, she basically says, we're not allowed to go there. She's swinging the key. She's been cold-faced this entire chapter up to this point, and she basically said the head said it was fine. We get a conversation between Maki and Fushiguro or Megumi, basically discussing this, saying that you became the official head as far as the will is concerned, yada, 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 so you need to accept it. Of course, Megumi does not want to be the head of the Zenin clan. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of this, it's a lot of that, and he has no time for it. Now, the thing is that he continues to say, no, I don't want it. All the benefits that you're talking about with me as the head, why don't you just become the head and then you can do it? Once again, that doesn't really work that way. The only reason it's officially accepted is because it's in the last head's will. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't really know exactly how this works, but it seems very odd that Megumi could just be like, yeah, okay, I don't want to accept it, but none of you guys can be the head. Maki's the head now. Bam. My first order is, I'm not the head, Maki's the head. Potentially, I guess that could go over, but once again, as we see later on, they don't even like that Megumi has become the head, let alone letting Maki, who is considered the black sheep, who's not even considered part of the Zenin clan by most of them, and stuff like that. Like, that would just create extra turmoil, and she brings us all up and basically says, right now, if I became the head of the Zenin clan, that would not serve purpose, that would not serve my goal, and it would not allow me to build a place for Mai, because of course she's always cared about her sister and tried to make a place for her sister. So this is what sort of backpedals Megumi, and he moves on. Now the thing I find interesting about this is that Megumi was trying to get out of this the entire flight, like trying to get out of this. It's relatively short, but there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of jam-packed stuff, and he's just trying to, like, I really don't want to, you do it, somebody else do it, blah 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 blah. And it's only when she brings up like not that she doesn't want to be the clan head, but right now, the way she is, she wouldn't be able to make a place for Mai within the clan. That's not serving her main goal, is always to care for her sister. So Megumi, of course, having that sort of relationship or understanding that sibling sort of relationship, automatically just gives in right away. I like that they showcase that and they don't bring it up. Like, it's very quick, but it's very powerful as far as Megumi as a character, because automatically when he sees that drive in somebody else, he recognizes, okay, like, it's not about stubbornness anymore, it's not about pride anymore, it's not about who's strong and who's not, it's about the ones we care about, and he can relate to that and just automatically, bam, yep, all right, fine, dandy. So then we jump back to the present, and once again, her mother is basically telling her, like, don't go in there, it's like, please, like, and just said, like, stop where you're going, like, why do you always have to be like this, just, like, why can't you just make me proud one time? And it's just like, damn, no, like, poor Maki, poor Mai too, but poor Maki dealing with this shit, and she has chosen to be a part of this world regardless. She can't see cursed spirits. She can't use cursed techniques. So she literally could have just went, nope, I'm powerless. I'm the black sheep. I've got no strength. I got no power. The generation, the genes, they skipped me. They skipped me for whatever reason. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to do something better. But she, with her talent. But no, she buckles down. Once again, it's sort of like that story of like a short basketball player or a baseball player with no hand-eye coordination whatsoever, or a blind cook, whatever. No matter what, they are trying their damnedest to win in a world that's set against them. And that considers drive, but of course, the parents just find her to be an embarrassment. And I mean, I'm surprised Maki is not more hardcore. Like, I don't want to get on the whole Nobara thing, but Nobara's attitude would make sense for Maki's character. Being treated like this her entire life, being ousted like this for most of her life and her childhood especially, which are your formative years. This, like, once again, this is a great chapter for Maki fans because of this, because we're seeing this and we could understand, like, once again, I'm not going to, this is not a Nobara chapter or me comparing the two, basically, but Maki's attitude could be far worse, and it would be relatable. It would be empathetic. It wouldn't excuse some of her actions potentially, but you could at least understand the reasons behind it. But beside, like, her attitude towards people, her attitudes toward herself, her attitudes towards combat and battle and pride, you would be able to understand these emotions, especially based now on what we know in this chapter. But she's not like that. She literally has grown. She grew up so fast in her formative years. She grew to a level that their opinion does not matter. She outgrew her parents while she was still a child, by the sounds of this, because she just does not care. It's a level of commitment and dedication that is it's such a focused dedication to her goal that nothing can get in the way. And as far as she's concerned, and the others that are naysayers, the hater's going to hate, and it's just irrelevant. It's irrelevant to her. She doesn't, hate them or love them. She doesn't care about them. It's the spot that a lot of therapists want their patients to reach eventually. People who really have that, I forget what it's called, but they really care about what people think, and they take on not just their own stresses about things they can change, they take on external stresses, internal stress, other people's stress. They take it all on, and they shouldn't, because that weighs them down. Maki has grown to this level without any therapy, by the looks of it, to be able to do that. And that, like, this is the way I'm reading her character. Maybe you guys are seeing something different, but it's so impressive. It's amazingly impressive. I'm not saying there's not resentment and anger there, but she has it under control. That's a huge thing for a teenage girl to have this shit under wraps. As I said, the other half of the chapter goes on, like, after the mother basically says, like, those really cutting words. We finally see her father. Now, once again, I don't believe we've seen her mother before. I think we've seen her father. Her father was one of the guys in the meeting about the Zenin clan before. So we've seen her father before, but now we see him in a more speaking role. We know exactly who it is. I think we did know who it was before, but just wasn't 100% sure on that. I'm not sure. Like, I'm pretty sure we saw him once before, but like, his design looks very familiar and stuff. But once again, still have yet to reread the series, and I really should. But yeah, so definitely here, this is a shocker. This is a real shocker that they would stoop to this level. Like, Mai is here, and she's been cut down by their old man, and basically says, you reached the warehouse and stuff. So you could actually look at the mother. The mother's depiction here of saying, stop, come back, is sort of like, I don't want to say love, because she's a terrible mother, and this is a terrible father, really. But the fact of the matter is that she knew this. This was set up by her parents. If she walks through that door, he's going to cut her down. And she told her to stop and come back. So there's some form of, I even hesitate to say affection. Like it's so hard for me to talk about that because it's still so twisted. It's like, no, affection would be her telling her this and run, escape, and blah, blah, blah. Like, in her own way, I guess, like, a little bit of that motherly, like, attachment showing through, but it's so minuscule that it doesn't really matter. Sort of like adding a dash of salt to an entire turkey. It didn't do anything. All you did was waste that pinch of salt, because you ain't gonna taste that flavor change. So, it's sort of weird. Like, the fact that the mother screamed that and said that, shows something is there. Something under all the layers of, proper and respect and all that stuff. There's a little something there, but the father's not showing time of day. She goes into this room. It's the cursed tool warehouse. They're not there. Now, here's the thing I wanted to bring up. In one translation, it says that we anticipated that you would come here, and we emptied the vault. We emptied it all. They're no longer here. The tools aren't here that you are seeking. Okay? The other translation says they were destroyed. Now, that's a huge key difference. That's a major key difference, because having them potentially just being moved, and now she got to deal with her old man being a child murderer. But like, destroy or emptied, which one is it, right? So I'm not sure. The official Viz said he emptied the vault, but I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that that's necessarily correct. We've had corrections from Viz before. So either way, I'm not going to talk about the fact that these are destroyed quite yet, because the Viz, the official translation, says the vault was emptied, not that the cursed tools were destroyed. So we're going to go off of that for right now. But potentially, he destroyed them all. And it's like, are you guys idiots? Do you not know do you not know that the entire world is in danger right now? Like, man, oh man. So all this internal political power struggle bullshit, these power-hungry idiots. The Zenin clan is actually filled with assholes. They're awful people. So this is where we see the Noya and the uncle guy, the crazy looking like Thunder Beast bear looking thing. They're sitting down and chatting about this, saying that like Megumi is definitely a better choice. He's got more support. He's got a good number of people. He's got good relations with the Keimon clan. He's got a good relations with the Gojo clan especially and stuff. And like we can't. But so but we cannot accept them leaving everything to Megumi because he's not like a proper fit and stuff and blah, 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 blah. But they need a proper excuse to eliminate him. They can't just go around murdering. They need to keep their facade. They need to keep their white hats, so to speak. They need to look like the good guys, the deliverers of justice. They can't be the weak clan who murder their own because they don't like them, sort of idea. That like they're going to lose the respect, they're going to lose favor, they're going to lose all that stuff, right? In the Jujutsu world. So what they've conceived here is this entire idea of, all right, we know that they're after to release Gojo because Gojo has now officially been blamed for, like the sealing and stuff. He's been blamed for certain things in the Shibuya incident. So one of the rules is that Satoru Gojo has been deemed an accomplice in the Shibuya incident, and now releasing him or breaking his seal is considered a capital offense. It's a criminal act. It's a crime. Right? So that's why they're going to take advantage of this. So the Zenin clan, bunch of power-hungry political dicks, and they're basically going to say, we are going to now execute Megumi, Maki, and Mei for conspiring to do so. That's their excuse. That's the excuse they found for their justice. So for their power struggle, so that they can wipe out all the competition within the internal struggle of the Zenin clan, wipe away a couple of failures as far as they're concerned, and then everything should go back to normal and their standing will remain. They'll look like heroes, not villains, which is what they care about. They care about keeping the facade. They care about the politics. They care about the white hats. So, yeah, I definitely did not see this coming, though. I found this extremely interesting that was going to go down. But once again, it's very funny that because OG apparently, who is their father, he's the one who suggested the idea about killing his own daughters when they came. So he's already cut down Mai, but Mai doesn't look dead yet, but a lot of blood on the floor. And now he's going to, use his secret art, Falling Blossoms or whatever it's called. And I'm all I can think is Byakuya Kuchiki. I'm like, oh God, what is this going to be, 1,000 razor blades again? Like, what the hell? Apparently, it's a countermeasure ability. And it allows anything for them to come in contact with or whatever for him to have like a second advantage. It sounds similar to another one of those techniques where it sounds similar, which would make sense to Nayo. I forget how to say his name, but the old guy, the original dude, that Naobito, I believe his name was, the old dude who died in Shibuya, the original head of the Zenin clan there. He similar to the whole like 24 frames, like he's able to move within that, and if you can't speed blitz that, if he's as fast as you, then you can attack him and he follows the pattern and then he can cut you, blah blah blah. It sounds sort of similar, but I'm very bad at understanding the descriptions in Jujutsu Kaisen. I've learned that from all my read-throughs and my main streams and stuff, so don't take me verbatim on how the hell this technique is supposed to work, because I read it one time, I think I understand it, but we're really going to have to see it in combat to understand exactly, I guess, how it really legitimately works. Apparently, it seems to be a countermeasure sword-style technique imbued with cursed energy. Now, Maki, once again, found he is wielding Juzo, that guy who with that was creating all the cursed tools, the butcher sort of dude, has a cursed tool known as, now depending on the translation once again, in the Viz it's called Dragon Bone, in the speed scan version or whatever, I believe it's called Keel. So I mean, both sort of cool names. Dragon Bone's a cool name, Keel's a cool name, so either way, but apparently what it does is that it accumulates force and cursed energy within the blade, and then it's able to utilize it and disperse it at the user's will. So, very deadly, very dangerous, and Maki is coming up with an idea, like, to catch her old man off guard. He's going to let a couple of blows, like, strike, 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 and then, boom, out of nowhere, attack, because no one's going to assume that she's able to use the cursed energy, blah, 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 all that stuff again. Now, this is where they bring up the fact that, why was my older brother Nobito chosen to be the head of the Zenin clan and not me? Now, I think it's just a hierarchy thing, like the eldest becomes king. William and Harry, if Harry hadn't stepped away from the British royal family, then William would still be the second in line to the throne as one of Diana's kids, but he's the eldest, so he's in line before Harry. That's just the way royal families, clans, and hierarchies work, so I never really questioned it, but apparently that's why, I guess, maybe they sort of have a choice? I don't know. I mean, of course they do, but let's see. Maki brings up the fact, is like, is it because you're a total asshole who would not think twice about killing his own children? And I was just like, talking smack. She's talked smack at the beginning of the chapter, saying like, oh wow, because Buddy was insulting, Nayo was insulting, Nayo was insulting Maki's like scars and her battle scars and her look and stuff, and like, you were just a pretty face and now you're nothing. And she was just sort of like, oh, really? You can actually recognize who I am by my face? I thought you only looked at women's asses, you know, pervert. And I was just like, damn. Like, she's talking the smack. Maki's not taking crap from any of these Zenin douchebags. Like, not a thing from them. And even calls out her old man, like, I think I know why you're not the head, because you're a bastard who wants to kill his own kids. How's that for starters? Like, that doesn't make a good leader now, does it? So there is that. Now, of course, the battle is very straightforward. She actually ends up, once again, cutting his blade very quickly, because he's definitely no slouch in the fighting department, but manages to cut his blade almost automatically in their first couple of strikes, and then Maki goes in for the attack, but then we see a serious problem that I'm not fully understanding here, but it seems like he's able to imbue cursed energy into the broken blade. The blade's broken, but he extends it with almost like think lightsaber, but cursed energy. It's just a cursed energy beam completing the other broken part of the blade, and he cuts her with that. Cuts her right across her scarred face, seemingly cuts her across her rib cage, and does a pretty cool attack. It looks really nice, like the image is really cool. I'm looking at it right now, and it looks beautiful. It's a really nice shot. I'm not sure if that was sort of a slash and back up sort of idea, or if it's to show like his speed feat, like how boom, and how quickly he went into the motion that like she couldn't even see it. But it appears like, so the blade was cut, and then the blade almost looks like it was cut again, but it didn't matter because he was constantly like zoom, zoom, zoom. It was sort of like cut through a lightsaber and just reignite the lightsaber. It sort of appears that way. I don't think that's what happened. It just looks sort of funny in that final double page spread where you see the original blade, clearly the original blade, flying off in the background by Maki. But then you see another part below her arm where the cut happened, but then you see the rest of the blade again. So it almost looks like she cut through it twice, but he just keeps reigniting the blade like, oh, you cut it? Too bad. And he's doing this in a split second. It seems to be that way, but I could be wrong about that. It could just be a motion blur sort of effect that's supposed to look really cool, and it does. It looks really badass. But yeah, so either way, he's able to basically just do that with the cursed energy stuff. Now, I'm not sure if that means it just passes right through the blade now, because the blade is not actually a blade and it's like pure energy, but that doesn't make a whole lot. So I'm not really sure what happened here. I understand that she cut the blade and then she thought like she could close the distance, and he had a broken blade, so she wasn't worried about his sword distance anymore, and he extended his sword. That's a big thing in a lot of mangas, especially of course swords mangas, but I'm not sure what this exactly means as far as like how he's able to do that or whatever. Is he imbuing it like that? Like there's going to be more to talk about. Chapter 149, I hope is going to continue this on, and we're not going to jump away from this because I got some questions, and I'm sure you guys do too. But I find this extremely intriguing. And then he answers, of course, he has to answer, the reason I didn't become the clan head, because you and my children are failures. It's like, what? Okay, first off, once again, that makes no goddamn sense. That really doesn't. First of all, you're the younger brother, so you wouldn't automatically be next in line as far as normal hierarchies of every other civilization go. And number two, that would not matter. That wouldn't. Okay, so you become the clan head, right? Then you die. Okay, anybody, because Megumi became clan head, so by Nobito's wishes, so all this dude would have to do is write a will and say Maki mine, not to be next clan heads because I'm embarrassed by them. How would that have ever held you back? That's really, he is projecting and blaming everything on her because he's a power hungry maniac, like, oh man, there's a lot to go. Maki's character is getting leaps and bounds of understanding and character development, like backstory, like a lot of background information we did not know. But from learning about her parents, the more we learn about her parents, the more it shapes her character overall. And I'm really excited to see more of this. I really hope they don't jump away for chapter 149. I hope they continue this. Because this was such an interesting chapter. A great chapter to come back to after that so long extended break. But yeah, definitely a great chapter. What do you guys think, though? I thought it was great. For Maki fans and just for fans of Jujutsu Kaisen in general, it was a pretty damn good chapter. So like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on what exactly his ability technically does. And what's exactly going on here. Clearly, she misinterpreted the fact that the blade was broken, and then it was remade, and then shing, boom, and then he did it, and he slashed her again. But it almost appears like she tried to cut through the energy, and it just did nothing, and he could continue the slash. Maybe that's what happened. Not 100%, but either way, great chapter, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. Don't forget we're getting to 600 subscribers, which is only less than 50 subscribers away in the month of June. It's still the month of May, so we have over a month to get me 50 more subscribers. Think we can do it, guys? Think we can do it? So don't forget to drink responsibly as always, and we will see you guys back here next time. I don't believe there's a break next week, so next week we'll be doing chapter 149 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Some great hype. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Peace out.